Hello everyone, 76 Patriot here, and today I'm going to be listing 5 key strategies that I truly believe, if properly implemented, would all but guarantee Republican success this election year on both presidential, congressional, and all other levels of races. So without further ado, diving into the first strategy, and this is more of a state of being, I guess you classify it as, but good, competent leadership in the Republican Party. And thank God some of this has already happened. We see in the RNC earlier this year, they had elections, of course, when McDaniel was thankfully replaced with Michael Whatley, who I think is much more based of a leader. They also had other elections. Obviously, Laura Trump was elected to, I believe they call it the vice chair position or something like that. If you want to have a good party and you want to win elections, you need competent leadership. You need people that care about winning, that actually stand for conservative values. And so this is a good development for this year. I think that's great. We have a leader. I mean, look at some of the things that, this is one of the things he's doing and the RNC is doing with new leadership. Massive effort to monitor voting. This is important if you want to be successful. And, this is great. Mobilize thousands, you got poll workers, attorneys. I'm sure they've done some of this before, but it's great to have people that actually care about this kind of stuff. And granted, this isn't something you do overnight, but because it's kind of the foundation on which everything else is built on, good leadership, I just wanted to list that one first. So that's the first strategy. The second strategy that I think would basically guarantee Republicans to win this year, or certainly help towards their chances greatly, is to basically increase the use of early and mail voting, as well as legal ballot harvesting. I'm going to get into this one a little bit, because this one is crucial, I think. So, right here, even, Michael Whatley is saying the party has to influence early voters to the degree, and obviously this is several months ago, so it's a bit dated, but, his position hasn't changed at all. Influence early voters to the degree that we can. And there's a lot of strategy that is going on here that is good. And you see, make sure people have a plan on how they're going to go out and vote. We need to make sure we are communicating with them. And, I appreciate how he's saying right here, programs focused on early voting, legal ballot harvesting, because this is the problem. When Democrats in so many swing states have these laws, official laws in the books, people have tried to overturn them. They get voted in support of these laws or whatever. It's unsuccessful that Republicans can stop the laws, then they might as well use them to their advantage because they're legal. They're on the books. These laws that, have expanded access to voting or voting for, months before the election, crazy stuff like that. So we might as well use them within, the bounds of the law to our advantage if Democrats are doing it. And I appreciate how the RNC is becoming more strategic about this than ever before. And I think it's because of stuff like this that gives Trump and other candidates a much better chance this election year. I certainly hope so. So that is the second strategy, is basically not only reaching out to people that vote, by different kinds, whether it's by mail or early vote or whatever, but also just generally being more strategic about this area. The third strategy that I would list is possibly the most important, some could argue, is election integrity laws. And this is important because in some states we've seen big improvements since 2020. Sadly, some of them we haven't. And obviously, there's a certain extent to which I can talk about this on this platform. But basically, we look at Georgia, now that's good. States implemented key policies to make it easy to vote and hard to cheat. That's good. And if you're wondering, I'm using this as just website I've never heard of before, America First Policy Institute. Looks pretty good. I just, after a quick perusing it. So, unfortunately though, look at this. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nevada, these are big swing states. Free and fair elections in jeopardy. That's not good. So we better hope and pray that people show out like never before so that this topic isn't even of concern for us. And this is something that, again, this takes time, and so it's a bit unfair to say, oh, we're going to have all this massive election integrity stuff and legislation passed, the 11th hour, a couple months out before the elections. Sadly, at this point, that's getting harder. So, this is kind of riding on the backs of politicians that were elected in 2022, a lot of this stuff. So it's a bit unfair maybe to say it's a strategy that needs to be deployed now, but it's a mindset that should be. We need to support legislators that are promoting election integrity laws. We need to. We need to do everything we can, because this is the year that Republicans need to win, or things are going to keep getting worse and worse in this country. So election integrity, I guess laws you could say, and legislation in support of this area would be the third strategy. The fourth is candidate quality, in my opinion, and I'm just pulled up a couple pictures here for you guys to see as examples. Dave McCormick, this might be controversial. I personally think, he's a bad candidate. I think we were to ran Sean Parnell or somebody else against Bob Casey, would have a much better chance. It's people like this. You could say the same about Oz in 2022. He went up and lost by 5 points against practically a vegetable, So this is sometimes the issue. And 2022 was a bit hit or miss. We had good candidates like Adam Laxalt that kind of got shafted, in my opinion. We had other good candidates as well that won. We had bad candidates like Oz. And so, this is also an issue. Candidate quality. We need conservative, America first people that care about this country, that aren't grifters, that aren't establishment hacks, that aren't shills. And so an example of somebody that I think is good is Eric Hovde in Wisconsin. He's not maybe the best candidate out there, but in my opinion, he's a heck of a lot better and has much more of a chance to win than McCormick. So I think candidate quality is one that matters. We need good people running to represent us. And that is important, because these are the people of the Republican Party that are going to win. The establishment, the old guard, the old GOP, those days are going away, thankfully. And people who remain, in that mindset aren't as electable nowadays, thankfully. So that's the fourth strategy, is good candidates. The fifth and final strategy that I'll discuss in this video is the need to reach out to communities that we need inroads with, for lack of a better term, whether that's minorities. Let's say minorities, the big, you could say class, you could say, or I guess age is a better one. Young voters, for example. And this is something that I am so, I wouldn't say proud because I'm a nobody, but I am so thankful that Trump did this. He's going to ensure people and basically invited him to do this. But he went into a Chick-fil-A and met with all these black voters or black people. That's great. Stuff like this is good, not only publicity, but good to reach out to voting blocs that may not otherwise, historically support you. And it's stuff like this that is going to help win elections. Rather than just saying every year, oh, maybe more black people are leaving the Democratic Party. We hear this year after year. Very little of it materializes. I mean, sure, over time it might happen, but it would take decades for this stuff to happen. So we need to have people actually going out in the trenches and physically meeting with people, having conventions, going into deep blue territory, and actually talking about these issues with people. And all this takes time, but this matters. If you want to win elections and get conservatives in government, you have to do the kind of stuff that Trump's doing, and some of these candidates are doing. So that's basically it for this video, guys. These are the 5 strategies that I truly think, if implemented properly, if people actually took all their guts and all the, everything put behind this, if they worked with all their heart, I think we would win. We would have a big resounding victory in November, whether it's with Trump, the Senate, the House, state legislatures, all across the board. If we got, good, competent leadership. Let's go over this again. Just good, competent leadership. maximizing different kinds of voting and reaching out to different voters, election integrity, which is absolutely massive, candidate quality, of course, and then reaching out to these people, going in the trenches, I would call this one. I think, and unfortunately, it's sad. It's pretty much sad to say that I doubt all these five will align. I don't, we're not there now for sure. So obviously, I'm not predicting that Republicans are going to win all these races. I'm just saying, theoretically, I think we'd be unstoppable as a party, as conservatives, um, if we really focused and tried all these and tried to elect people that do these things. So that's it for this video. I won't let this go on. Hopefully, this was some use to you guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.